Hey everybody, it is 6:31. I was picking stuff off my mat and realized it was time to go live. So hey everybody, it is Tuesday and we are live again. And guess what? Tonight I've got a Coke. No coffee tonight. So a little bit different for me. I asked Ron to run and get me a Coke because I had been a little bit under the weather with a little stomach bug, and Coke cures everything. So, hey, everybody, we are here live, and I love my ghost, right? You've seen it, you've seen it, you've seen it, you've seen it. I love everything ghost. So, I even gave you the ghost file. I gave it to you as a cuttable to be able to cut your pattern last week. I gave it to you in the newsletter. So this was the cute little shape of the ghost, and we're going to use it again. So you can see this is a little card. Look how cute this is. And this paper, I wish you could see how gorgeous it has, like an iridescent to it. So it's really a beautiful color. So this is one way that we could do. And then here is, I made an envelope. So I'm going to open that envelope and pull card out. And I did one, and I used my pen and I put booyah and opened that up. And so this is another way. So we are going to go into Canvas and we're going to talk about this because I love everything ghosty. And tomorrow is officially the 1st, and I can decorate for Halloween. So next Tuesday night, you will see even a different display behind me because I will have some of my decorations up here. And I can't wait. Because you have to start crafting early, so we got to get this stuff going. So I'm going to move some stuff out of the way as usual, and I have put on my mat. See how it's just so iridescent. It's so gorgeous, this paper. I have lost a mat. I need Jill to come over and help me find stuff because I've been working like crazy and I have stuff everywhere. So I had to open a new mat today, which kills me. I hate opening a new mat. I try to make them last as long as I can. So I see lots of friendly names on here. My new bestie from over the other side of the pond, Jeanette, is watching from the UK. So thanks for joining. And I see all kinds of friendly names. And I say hello, hello, hello. So let me see if I left everything the way that I should. And let's see. I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to try to share this over to the Facebook group. And that way I can make sure that that's going. Sometimes I forget to do that. It's me. I forget a lot of times. And for me, I don't even see it right this second, so I'm trying to hit share. I should just have somebody else do this. I don't do well under pressure there. There we go. I shared. We're good. So let me leave that sitting there so that I can see. And it is so funny. I'm going to say one thing. I did post that I had kits for our November class, and you can see that I've been working on them. I've been boxing them up. I had somebody send me an email and they said, I can't believe that I just sent you money and I'm not even sure what I bought. So that is when you know that you have some really good followers that send you money and they're not even sure what they bought. So the October class that'll be next Thursday night, that is going to be in Canvas. We're going to learn, really kind of dive into Canvas. And then the following month in November, we're going to do rhinestones. So what does that kit include? So I'm going to show you so that you know what it is. So this is a piece of rhinestone flock. This is a piece of transfer tape that's made to transfer rhinestones. So that is that. This is rhinestones, and they are 10SS. And you will also get a brush to be able to brush those in. You will also get a mat to put those on. A piece of holographic HTV will also be in that kit. And I think that's, yeah, a piece of holographic HTV. So those are the things that'll be in the kit. So for those of you that ordered, that's what it is. For those of, I had a couple people asking, so I thought it'd be easy to show that. I'm excited about it. I have some other cutters that'll be joining because truthfully, the technique is very similar if you're using Canvas, if you're using Silhouette, if you're using Leonardo. So all of those are kind of the same. It's the same technique. And I will include a file so that if you don't have a way to make a file, you don't want to make a file for whatever you don't have, there'll be a file included with it. So let me change screens here. So let's see if I can share my screen. And if I left everything the way that I should, it should pop up here. So let's see. And let's see if it, there we go. So hopefully you can see that I have window up and we are in Canvas Workspace. So the first thing that I need is that cute little ghost. So I'm going to go over to import from my computer. And I have cute ghost. See how I just named that. So this is the little ghost that was in the newsletter. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So let's go over to our edit. And that way I can see what size it is. So if you notice over here on the right-hand side, it's going to show me how big it is. So I don't, let's do him about there. So that is a almost 4-inch ghost. The eyes, I can have them like that and they're still going to cut, but a lot of times I like to subtract them just so that I can see what it looks like without the black eyes. So I'm in edit and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to tell it to subtract, and you can see it took those eyes away. So now I can kind of see what that ghost is going to look like. Well, first, we're going to make the two-sided ghost. So I am just going to say that I want to duplicate, which I just want another one. And I want to mirror image him. So I am going to go up and mirror image it. That way they're opposite. The next thing, I need to make sure that they're the same height, and I'm going to make this a little different so you can see what I mean. I want them both to be straight. So I'm going to select both of those, and I'm going to go down to my align, and I'm going to tell it align top. That way they're both even at the top. And I'm going to take my little ghost, and I'm going to smooch him over to where he's just touching, and I'm showing you, just touching the other ghost. I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to select the both of them, and I'm going to tell it that I want to weld those two together and weld. Now that is one shape. So see how easy that was? So from there, I can send that to my cutter and be able to cut just like that. Well, before I go to cut just that one, let's talk about another way to make one of these. So I'm going to go back over to that SVG. I'm going to get that cute ghost and say open. And there that ghost is again. Oops, I lost his eyes. Let me hit undo. Move these out of the way. Now I have my cute little ghost again. And remember earlier I subtracted those eyeballs out. So I'm going to do the same thing. Go over here and hit subtract. And now I can subtract him out. Again, I'm going to make him about 4 inches. Okay. So now if I wanted to put him on a card, I need to have a background. So let's get a rectangle. And we want that rectangle to be bigger than my ghost. So let's look at that. And you're going to notice, see how I have this line in my mat? I'm going to line my center point up with that. So that way I have a straight line. And I need to have something right here so that my paper will fold nicely. So I'm going to go over and select my path. And I need a starting point for my path. And that's why I use that straight line and an ending point. And now I have that straight line that I can use. And I'm going to go over to my properties and see where it says dash pattern. I can tell it that I want that to be dashed lines. And that way it will cut those dashed lines to make that paper easier to fold. So I want to group those two things together. So I've selected both of those and I'm going to tell it group. That way I have my cardstock. I'm going to have my ghost. And now I can cut all of these things at one time. So what do we think so far? Tell me if you're following along, if you would make this project, because I love making cards and I really love making just sweet little easy cards because it doesn't take any time. And I include those with little gifts and little things just because it's easy for me. So now I'm going to go up to my file and I'm going to say that I want to export this and I'm going to send this via the internet. And it says, okay. So it is hopefully sent over to my scan and cut, and I am going to stop share, and then we will see and change camera views. So I can look at comments because I can't see comments when I am in the other screen. So see if everybody is doing. So let's change my camera view over to my scan and cut. So that way we can see, there it is on my paper. And to see all my mess behind there, that's the yarn that I was sorting out earlier. You can tell that I wasn't planning on that being in there, but it is, and it's okay. So I'm going to go to retrieve data and to the cloud. And there are all of my items that I want to cut out. So I have the two ghosts. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can. There we go. That glare is a little much. There. I'm trying there. I wasn't planning today as well as I usually do. So there's all of my shapes. I'm just going to say, okay. And I want to cut. And we know that I want these to definitely be a test cut. And I'm going to go over and see if I can tell it there. Let's tell it not. There we go. That'll help. I unmarried my camera, so that helps a little bit. I definitely want to do a test cut. Always, always. I want my half cut to be off, because I want to cut all the way through this cardstock. And I'm moving that up to the very top there. And I'm going to say, okay, and start and let it do that test cut for me. So now it's going to come down. And what it does, it measures the top of the mat and then it measures the product that's on the mat. So there was my first little test cut. I'm going to just lift that up and see. And to me, that wasn't a great cut. And it may have been that I didn't have my paper down very good. But I'm going to move it over, say test again, just to make sure. Because I kind of feel like it was because my paper wasn't on my mat very well. And I like to think about, I put mine a lot of times, if you'll notice, like on the 6-inch line. That way I know where to look for it when it goes to cut. So let's try that again. And it'll come over here to my 6-inch to try it. Yes, that time much cleaner, much nicer, so that you can see how clean it did. So that time I just didn't have my paper down very good on my mat. So I'm going to say start. And it says it's going to take approximately 2 minutes. And I'll change views while that's cutting. Move mine just a little bit so I don't run into anything. And then I can see comments. And yes, I see Jill and June said test cut, test cut, test cut. Everybody should know that I love test cut. And I'm glad I make it look easy, because that's to give you the confidence. It really is easy. And I know that sometimes it's intimidating. And that's why we're going to do these series on scan and cuts, so that we really can learn to use these machines that we have paid for. And I don't like buying patterns all the time. So I like learning how to make my own and then teaching you how to make them. And cards, like I said, I feel like cards are just such a fun way to add just a little cuteness, as we say. And I try to put several things on the mat at once, just so it will cut. Earlier, you can see, look, I cut a whole bunch of these little ghosts, and I have them, and I'm going to use them, string them, and do a few things just out of that extra paper. And yes, you still can order the rhinestone kits. Just send me an email to, and I'm going to type it out while I'm sitting here. So Stephanie says at Gmail. The kit is $15 plus shipping. So when you tell me you want the kit, go ahead and give me your address. And that way I can put that in and get a quote for it. So I'm putting so Stephanie says at gmail.com plus address in email to order. And there we go, everybody. That way that will be there. So one of the things when we're doing cardstock that I like to say, instead of trying to pick this off my mat, it's so much easier if you bow the mat behind it and then do it. So I'm bowing the mat. Of course, I didn't get a great cut because, again, I didn't have it on my mat that good. I didn't. But we're gonna wing it. I can pop it off of here. It's okay. I should have taken my mat off and put it on my table when I put my cardstock on there. I know better. I do. It cut almost. It just left a little smidge there. A little smidge. We'll fix it. No worries. And I could have checked before I took it off the mat to make sure, but I didn't. But it's okay, because we're going to make another one, because I want to talk about using our pins also. I do. And there. And now I got to poke his little eyes out because I didn't get his eyes. And we keep going and fold. So what I want to show you right here, see where I folded that and it doesn't fold quite as neatly? Let me show you how to fix that, so that you can see, again, how I use those score lines. So let's share screen again. And let's go over and share. So right here, I could do that same thing. So I'm going to zoom in just a little so it's easier for us to see. I'm going to move up and I'm going to move that over so I have that straight line again. So I'm going to go over to my path. I'm going to drop one, and then I'm going to give it a dash pattern. That dash pattern will help so much to be able to get that to fold nicer and neater. So that's why I really love to show the difference of using that dash and not using it. So since we're here again, let's make this ghost, we're going to make him a smaller one, just a little bit. And let's add some text. So I go over to T for text, and I'm going to show you, normally you would go right up here would be your text. This is called a sketch font. I love sketch fonts because they're thin and they work so well with pens. So there is my booyah, and there's going to be my little ghost. So let's cut this again, and I'm going to use a different paper this time so that you can see how that works. So let's delete this one for now. And let's go over to our layers and get our ghost. And let me move. Oops. Let me hide my ghost for the moment because I only want to send my card. So did you see how I did that? When you hide the ghost or your image, he won't send now. So now I'm going to go over to File. I'm going to say Export, and it tells you the objects that have been hidden are not available, which is exactly what I want. I don't want that available. So I'm going to say Transfer via the internet, and it said okay. At my Scan and Cut, I'm going to go to the home screen. I'm going to retrieve my data. This time I'm going to put paper on my machine better so that I don't have a cut that miscuts. So let's get my mat, put it in front of me, get my paper, get my brayer so that I don't have those issues. So I have paper. And one thing I didn't do, and I just realized it, I need to go back and fix something. But it's an easy fix, but it's an important one. So I've now got this paper on my mat better. So I'm going to load it, and then I'm going to go back and show you the step that I forgot to show you. An important step that I forgot to show you. And I'm going to, let me show you this on my Scan and Cut while we're here, and then I'll go back and fix something. If I can get my camera to change here. There we go. So again, trying to show you. I want to select everything that's on my mat, so that's what this will do. And I'm telling it everything and okay. And you'll see everything's in red. So that has grouped that together for me. And now I can move that around. And since my paper is at the top, I want my design up at the top. And then we're going to talk about the pen holder because that's the step that I forgot to show you. So let me go back over, share, and goodness, it's been share and share. There we go. So this is very important that I did not tell you. So I need to tell the booyah that I want that to be a draw file. So that was, I selected it. I went up to the top, and you can see you have a choice of cut or draw or pierce. And I want the Booyah to be a draw file. So I'm going to resend that over, and I'm going to delete that off and resend it so that we have the correct file. And I'm going to say, okay, transfer via the internet, and okay. And stop sharing. And now. So now I'm going to tell it to retrieve data. I've gone to my screen. And I'm going to group everything just like I told you a second ago and move that upwards. On the screen, I'm going to see, I know I wasn't really prepared on that one. On the screen here, I'm going to say, okay. And the first thing that I want it to do is my draw. And you're going to notice just Booyah is showing up. And I need to put in a pin. So I'm going to move over so that you can see. So this is one of the brother pen holders. And I just have, this is a thin Sharpie pen. And this just fits down inside, and you push it to where the bottom touches. And then this moves and it'll lock it in tighter. So you can get it tight to where the pen doesn't move when it goes in. And then the pen goes in right here. And it just slides in and you lock it. And now it's going to just draw. And I'm going to say start. And it'll start to draw. And my mat just went crooked. So hold just a moment. And unload. See how sometimes the corners get bent? And this is a brand new mat. And I'm just kind of bending that. It was getting caught. So that's what hiccuped just then. So let's try loading my mat again. And I'm going back and telling it that I want it to draw and to start. And we can, and that time it worked. I always draw first, and then I will do my cutting. I just like to draw first. So I have taken this out. Now I'm just going to run over, throw in my blue, and say, okay. Now at the screen, I just tell it that I want to do my cut. And I'm going to say start. But I love using the pens. And they do have two different pen holders. One of them for regular size pens, and then they've got another one for skinny pens. Terry, I think so. June, I didn't test cut this one. It better do okay. So that way you can see. And you can see those score lines, and that just makes it so easy to fold that. So now we have our Booyah, and I'm going to add another piece of cardstock to do that next ghost that we hid. So you can see here, I'm going to put this on, and I'm braying it. I got a little eyeball stuck over here somewhere. So let's go to my screen so that you can see how I send the ghost. So I'm going to say share screen. There we go. Now I'm going to go back over and turn my ghost on, and I can turn all the other stuff off to where I just have that ghost. So now I'm just going to send that ghost over to be cut. So I'm going to say file and export it. And it's reminding me there's things that are hidden. And I'm going to my home screen to get rid of everything. I'm going to retrieve data, and I'm going to go to that ghost. And then I'm going to change camera so that you can see it there. So that way, on my screen, and this is something that we'll talk about later, but here's a function that I think is so wonderful. So that is my scan mat. I'm going to say start so that it'll scan so that I make sure that I know where that cardstock is to put that ghost on there. And that's one of the great features with having, so now I have that paper and I can see my little ghost. And there's enough room. I'm going to say edit, object edit, and I'm going to add another ghost because I have enough room on that cardstock. Let's cut 2 of them and say okay and okay. Okay, it needs lots of reassurance. And we're going to cut. And yes, I'm going to do a test cut because this was the paper earlier that I had a little bit of problem with. So let's do that test cut to see if it's going to cut better this time. Okay, beautiful test cut that time. So let's say start, and we'll let that do. And so while it's cutting, we can come back and I can change views for a moment. And let's see. Cricut has glitter pins that I brought thinking it would fit the pin holder, but they were too narrow and wouldn't hold them securely. If you've not seen it, they have another one of these, and they're called for skinny pins. And if you'll hold on, I'm going to move outside of camera because I think the box is right over there and I can read it to you. So there is another pin holder, and it's called Small Barrel Pin Holder. And I bought both of them. That way I love pins. I buy them. And when I love TJ Maxx, and they'll have that set of just beautiful pins. And so I buy all different sizes. So that's why I did get both of the pin holders. Another thing that you can do is you can use a rubber band, use some tape, and kind of tape your pen. If you have some Coban will work, or Terry just said blue painter's tape to get them. So it just kind of depends on what you have. I am going to tell my cutter to cut one more time just because I feel like it needs another cut. And that's why I don't move anything. I don't do anything until I know. And earlier I grabbed it off there too quick. So there is a skinny barrel, what's it called? Skinny barrel pin holder. There's another one. But those same suggestions, tape, Coban, rubber bands, These, look, have things sticking to me. These are the Sharpie fine pens, and I think they work great. And Linda, I'm so glad you found me too. It makes me happy. And here is my booyah. Doesn't that look cute? So now that came off nice and clean. Unload, and instead of pulling the ghost, just bow my mat so that they pop up and pop up. And now I have my little booyah somewhere. I have some double-sided tape. And something that would be cute that I could have done is done like 2 slashes on the inside, and then I could have put a little sucker or something, some little treat there. But there. Allison, happy Tuesday to you. How many Tuesdays till we're together? Is it 2 more Tuesdays? I'm excited. Excited. So now, everybody that was watching, or if you're watching on rewatch, tell me if you are going to make one of these cards. You have the file. If you don't have the file, if you don't subscribe to get my email, again, send me an email and tell me you want it, and I will send you the last newsletter, and I will send you the file so that you can have that cute little file. In the files online, I gave everybody the printed one to make and I love this paper, so I cut and saved the scraps. And just to let everybody know, for once, I actually have a trash can. See my trash can? I actually have one sitting here to throw all these scraps in as I'm cutting and doing. So now you know how to take a shape. You know how to make this. You know how to make the folded ones. You know how to make a card. You now know how to use your pen. So we did a lot tonight, a whole lot, and we only did it in 38 minutes. So love it. And the trash can, Terry, why, yes, I did add the flamingo to it because it was just stripes, and you know, how fun is that? So now you've seen what you can do. And envelope, I have probably, I don't know, I want to say 50 different envelope designs. You truthfully could type in, if you have a Creative Fabrica, you could type in envelope. If you do design bundles, you could probably type in just free envelope SVG and find one. But I love envelopes, and there's so many different shapes and sizes of them to be able to make. And this one's just a real easy one that goes together, and this locks in. So, do I use cardstock for cards? I do. I use a little bit of everything, really, Debbie. When I'm shopping and I find cardstock that intrigues me, I buy it. So, like I said, this one, I really wish you could see how iridescent it is. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then right here beside me is some glitter cardstock, because I love these 2 colors together. And so that was one that I was going to make. And then this iridescent pearlized white I thought was gorgeous with it. So those are just, but I use a little bit of everything. I use cardstock. I use linen paper. Vellum is one of my kind of go-to. I love vellum for envelopes. I think that it just gives it a little bit of a look. But I also sometimes will do an envelope and do just a different color here, so that when you open and look at it, there's a different background. So that's just something you can do. So a little bit of everything. And I even have tried my hand at alcohol ink and coloring my own paper. I said tried my hand. I didn't say I was great at it, but I've tried. And somewhere I've misplaced one of my ghosts, and he'll show up probably on the bottom of my foot later as I walk around. Y'all saw when I moved my camera the mess. That's okay. I'm a crafter. I freely state that all the time, that I tend to have messes, and it's all right. So oh my goodness. Reen, you look at this. Look at the ghost cards. So guess what Isaac can make next? You can do your ghost cards. And I showed how to do little ghost, double ghost. So you can catch it on the replay. I'm glad y'all had a good time tonight. And everybody else, it is not Taco Tuesday tonight because, as I said, I was drinking a Coke. I was under the weather, not feeling tacos tonight, but I'm sure it'll be something. So everybody, I hope y'all have a great night. I will see you again next Tuesday. As always, if there's something that you're wanting to see for me to create, for me to make, put it in the comments so that it gives me ideas. If you're not watching me on YouTube, please go over and subscribe and like me over there. It helps me a ton. And remember, if you want to order kits for the rhinestone, that is so Stephanie says at gmail.com. Give me your address. If you're new, don't get the newsletter. Again, shoot me an email and I'll take care of that for you. Everybody, have a great night. And tomorrow is October 1st. And if you think that I've already been crazy about Halloween, tomorrow it begins. So everybody have a great one. See you.